find ourselves once again back in Amityville with Amityville VR, a combination release here of Bayview Entertainment and SRS Cinema. Um, the director of this film probably needs an award. The person who is behind this film probably should be praised because somehow they managed to take what this thing here is and finesse not one but two companies into putting their name on it and releasing it. Now, I am not going to sit here and diss somebody for putting a lot of hard work and effort into making a movie, because making a movie is not easy. And to the credit of the people that made this movie, it does look nice for what it is. That being said, this thing is a gigantic swing and a miss. This is a sequel, if you couldn't tell. You can't tell unless you know what's happening here. But basically, you remember I did a review for Amityville AI. Well, this is the sequel. This is Amityville VR. It takes the guy from the last movie, puts him in a situation where some men in black sort of have him in a room, put a VR headset to him, and want him to solve the case of why there's a demonic virus of sorts in everybody's electronics. So yeah, that is the plot of the movie. The guy from Amityville AI is in a first-person point of view, walking around, following this witch character, has a person that is a bloody plastic skeleton that talks to him, and it just drags out and goes on and on and on and on and on. And there's some violence and stuff at the end, but it's an hour and 15 minutes that you're never going to get back after you watch it. And while most of the time you want to at least find something to brag about, there's very little to brag about other than the movie looks good. But other than that, they drag everything out. They're just trying to basically hit some form of length here to finish the film, and they do. And the end results is a teetotal waste of time. And I hate to be that down on a movie, but this thing is bad. And I have seen, as you know at this point, several Amityville films. But this one is a combo of release, like I said, SRS Cinema / Bayview Entertainment. I think this one might come a little bit more on the Bayview side rather than the SRS side. But the Blu-ray is a burnt disc, by the way, which is okay, because if you was to come across this or buy it or purchase it, you're probably going to watch it one time only. And, you may fast forward it. I don't know. I wanted to so badly, but I didn't. I stuck through it. But while all these Amityville movies are fun and they bring a little something to bring, to the table to laugh about or have a joke about, this thing just limps its way into a finish line. It just limps its way into being barely a coherent plot of a movie. Probably was no script. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say there probably was no script for this thing. And while it was a shocker to see that it was a sequel to Amityville AI, it was an unwanted sequel. And while I believe that movie had a little bit of some fun stuff going on to it, this thing just does not have anything going for it other than this VR gimmick, and that wears itself out pretty quick. So yeah, Amityville VR to me is a 1 out of 5. If you're going to make a third one, God forbid, if you go and make an Amityville whatever at this point in the same trilogy of these films, because now you've got sequels to Amityville movies that are unofficial sequels to Amityville movies. It's very complicated. You need a flow chart. Try to come up with something a little better. Try to come up with a little something with a little more plot to it. And don't just make a gimmicky cash grab, although that's basically what Amityville movies are at this point anyway.